Unit 1 Vocabulary for World History, Ancient Civilizations. Let's talk about how to take vocabulary notes. You can work on paper or electronically. If you decide to work on paper, please make sure that you keep up with the notes from unit to unit so that you will be able to study for your midterm and final exams. Make sure that you write down the entire definition and the sentence that shows its proper usage. Let's get started. Ancient. Definition: very old, from a long time ago. Sentence: our society has more in common with ancient civilizations than many people think. You can use ancient to describe something that's really old, like your teacher or a group of people that lived hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Ancient is something that most people haven't had a lot of direct experience with. Artifact. Definition: an object made by humans. Sentence: an artifact helps to show us what was important to people from the past. Artifact. Artifacts can be anything that a group of people made to use in daily life. It might be examples of works of art or stories that they told. Anything that they created with their own hands can be considered an artifact. Civilization. A highly organized group of people with a common government, culture, and economy. Only groups that have achieved a high level of accomplishment are considered civilizations. So, civilizations, every group of people living together isn't necessarily a civilization. They need to be organized in the way that they govern themselves, in their economy, where they have specialization of labor. They need to be able to provide their own food. It's all those things that we looked at on our civilization analysis chart. When you say that a group of people is civilized, what you're saying is they've reached sort of the height of how people live. If you say that someone is being uncivilized, what you're implying is you don't think that they know the rules for how things work. Empire. A group of nations or kingdoms ruled by a single government. When one nation is able to conquer other areas and control the people, that nation is building an empire. Many of the civilizations that we've talked about in this unit conquered large areas, literally large territories. Not all the people that lived inside those territories were of the same ethnic or cultural background, but they lived under the control. That's what makes something like the Persian Empire so impressive. They controlled a large area of people that they had taken over. Conquer. To win by force. In many cases, one civilization was conquered by another. So as we look at the passage in history from one civilization in power to the next, what happened in a lot of cases was that a group of people attacked one another. They conquered that group and took them over, took them into their area of control. So conquering or conquest would be how power changed from one group to another in a lot of cases. Society. A group of people associated together for a certain purpose. Society is often used as a synonym for civilization. They mean almost the same thing. So for the purposes of our class, we will use civilization and society interchangeably. If you say one, you can mean the other, and there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. Polytheistic, the worship of more than one god. Many of the ancient cultures that we're studying practiced a polytheistic form of religion by worshiping many different gods. In a lot of cases, they took the gods and goddesses and they gave them certain powers or certain areas of control. So you might have a god of the sun and a god of the harvest and a god of rain or a goddess of seasons or things like that. And in that sort of setup, that's a polytheistic practice of religion. Monotheistic, the worship of only one god. The ancient Hebrews practiced a monotheistic form of religion and worshipped only one god. Usually in a monotheistic religion, the one God who's being worshipped has supreme powers and is in control of everything in the universe. And that's one of the things that distinguishes monotheistic religion from polytheistic religion. Dynasty, a sequence of rulers from the same family or group. Ancient China was ruled by a series of dynasties. When you talk about a dynasty, you talk about power being passed down, maybe from father to son or through a family group. In our modern language, we talk about sometimes sports teams being dynasties. If one team wins a championship 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row, we talk about that as a dynasty because they're very powerful and the championship doesn't move from team to team. It stays with that one group. That's the end of this vocabulary list for Unit 1. Remember that you can rewind or rewatch any of this video that you need to. Make sure you have your terms accessible, whether in electronic form or on paper, and have these with you in class each day. Thank you very much.